Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would answer a question I get asked pretty often because I promote conjugate training here. And that's, when should a novice lifter go over to conjugate? And that's really a tricky question because a lot of people will say things like, well, at what strength level? Well, it's not about a specific strength level. And I can say that based upon my different clients. Have I taken clients who squat high 300s or high 200s and put them on conjugate? Yes. Have I also had someone who hadn't done conjugate till he was already squatting over 400 and benching over 300? Yes. And we take them over to it, right? And some of them I even start with a little bit of linear programming. But the issue that it comes down to is, when are they ready? When they're doing it on their own. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. But if I was coaching someone in person, not virtual coaching, because what I do for the most part is Skype, Messenger, email, all of that. And I'm in daily communication with most of my clients. If they have questions or anything, I'm looking at form check videos. I get them in Skype pretty frequently to discuss everything they're doing. But it's not the same thing as being an in-person coach. And I think most people realize the difference in terms of cost, because even for you to hire a personal trainer, not uncommon to spend $50 a session. If you were to have someone there all 4 of your workouts every week, you're looking at $200 a week. $200 a week for someone to actually train you in person. And that's pretty normal, pretty typical, if not more. Whereas then with virtual coaching, we're doing something like $250 a month. That's what I do for most of my clients. It's my standard rate. So it's different than being there in person. If they were in person, I could put someone on conjugate after a few weeks, no matter what. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how strong you are, because I'm there to coach everything. I can take them to 1-rep maxes. Why can't you have someone who's been working out for 3 weeks, who's built a little bit of a base or core strong, they can do the movements? Why can't they max out? And to a lot of people that would sound shocking, but that's in person. That would be in-person coaching. So what would I say for the average person out there? It's not about strength level. It's going to be about proficiency. It's going to be about proficiency. I have made videos showing you how to perform both good mornings and how to perform box squats. For me, I would look at how proficient are they on those movements, because what's going to be our foundational moves? It's going to be what? Things like closed grip benching, box squats, right? Box squats, good mornings. Can you proficiently perform a box squat? You guys see me doing some box squats, or you see me doing both max work and speed work. Watch what these look like. Now you're going to see above. Watch me do a speed squat. Okay, out wide. Right, got my chest up. Everything's braced. Right, get my head up. I sit all the way back on the box, no rocking, and explode straight up. Okay, very, very little travel of the knee. In fact, my knee on some of these, especially like on the maxes, you'll notice is actually up above my ankle or even behind it. Okay, that matters. Can you perform a box squat without letting your head rock forward? Because I've taken novices who've hired me who, when they even put them on a box squat, they do some rip toe stuff. They're looking down at the ground. I can tell you right now, that's a good way to get hurt. Letting your upper back just be rounded completely over. Like if you squat that way, yeah, you can't do conjugate. You'll get hurt. Because you can't squat heavy that way. Especially on a box. Especially on a box. Can you perform a good morning while keeping your chest up and pushing your hips all the way back? Okay. That's what we're looking for. Can you sit back onto a box and explode up without rounding your upper back? Can you keep your head up and your chest up? Can you drive your knees out on a box squat while sitting backwards? Again, shooting your butt backwards and sitting back onto the box under control. Because a lot of people don't have soft boxes. If you don't have control, you're going to get hurt. And you sit back and control the eccentric rep even on a max. Or on a heavy set. Okay? If you can do those things on the box squat, you're proficient. You're proficient enough to run conjugate. Can you do a good morning without rolling your upper back and looking down? Can you keep your chin up? Can you maintain core tightness and push your hips backwards in hip hinge? Can you film yourself doing those correctly for work sets? That's what's going to determine if you're ready for conjugate or not. Do you have proficiency at the movement patterns? Do you have the equipment to do maxes safely? Do you have safety arms on your squat rack? Because I don't care, this isn't Olympic squatting. You're not dumping the weight behind you on a box squat. Okay, this is not Olympic squatting. Do you have the equipment to perform it safely? Can you perform those two movements proficiently? I don't care if your work sets are only with one plate aside. Can you perform them proficiently? Right, that's a real question, isn't it? It's about proficiency. It's about having safety. It's about having basic mobility. Can you reach parallel on a box under control? And again, can we hip hinge correctly? And as far as other things go, people say, well, what about deadlifting? Well, can you perform a sumo correctly? And if you can't perform a sumo correctly, can you perform a deficit deadlift without pain? Because if you can deficit pull, you can do that for speed pulls. Okay? That's what you need to run conjugate. You need to have proficiency on those things. About mindset. Can you max out without fear? That's the other big one. Like I can tell you right now, if I have a novice guy and I see him psyching himself up for a max, he's afraid. I'm going to slap my hands and tell him no. Make a loud sound, pop, no. Make them take a deep breath and calm themselves back down. You guys notice I don't psych up for the maxes. Right, there's maxes done through here that are PRs. In the middle of this video up here, you notice me, I'm calmly approaching the bar, setting up tight. Can you calmly approach a 1 rep max? Can you do so without fear and without anxiety? Can you do so without a pre-workout? Because I don't want to hear that guy's like, well, I need a pre-workout. No, you don't. They don't work. The research says they don't do anything beneficial for you. Even if they were psychosomatic, then people would get better results who take them. In studies, they don't produce more strength or more muscle. So whatever psychosomatic response they give, what's happening? It's being offset with something negative happening in the body. And we know what that negative is. I've discussed it before. Pre-workouts will hurt your gains. But you might get enough psychosomatic response to overcome the negatives and it balances out. Impede recovery. Can you come in and calmly hit a 1 rep max? Right, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for in a novice. It's not about have they built a certain strength level yet. It's not relevant. There have been people who have gone on conjugate under coaches from literally almost ranked novices who've gone on to compete at very high levels in sports. There are plenty of athletes who are put on it by strength coaches for other sports. It's the best system to run. But you have to have a basic proficiency at the movements involved. A basic proficiency. Now, a lot of people think that they're proficient. They're not. I'm demonstrating for you guys some proficiency. Here you go. Watch me do this squat with 532 with 100 pounds of chains. All right. Proficiency. This is a Proficient Max on a box squat. Can you do this? All right. Knees not tracking past my toes. Knees are back, sitting back, chest up. External rotation of the hips. Control the eccentric, explode out, drive the hips out. Drive the knees out. Can you do that? If you can perform that movement, and you can push your hips back on a hip hinge. And you can calmly max out. You can max out without screaming, without psyching yourself up, without a pre-workout, without blasting Slayer, and can walk over and do a max. If you can meet all those criteria, you can run Conjugate effectively. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.